to Cash Flow Conversations, day 11 on my capital raising journey, going live for the next 30 days to educate people around the world of real estate, real estate funds, and real estate syndication. Today, I thought it was super timely to talk about the differences between a syndication and a fund. Both have their pros, both have their cons, and you really have to do what's best for your investment style and your approach and your goals. Um, yeah, casual Friday as well. That's why I'm wearing my Texas hat, one of my favorite states in the US. Love it. Just a little side note there. But we'll start with real estate syndication. So, what is a real estate syndication? Essentially, you are buying a property and you are putting it under contract and you're taking out a mortgage, but instead of the down payment coming solely from your funds, you are raising those funds from a pool of investors. So typically, the operator, the sponsor, the landlord, those three words are used interchangeably, but they pretty much mean the same thing. So the operator, the sponsor, um, the landlord, right? You are raising for the down payment, the closing cost, the construction budget, and some reserves as well. So all of those funds are being raised from a pool of investors. And a syndication is for a single property typically, or it could be for a small portfolio as well. But, I think a perfect example was the one that I just closed on, 69 units in Ohio. That is an example of a syndication. That was a 506B offering, which means that I could not market that property publicly, and I had to have a pre-existing relationship with the people who invested alongside me. And that's an example of a syndication. Look for a property, you underwrite it to make sure that the numbers check out okay. You put it under contract, you put down the earnest money deposit, and you have typically 30 to 60 days, sometimes a bit longer, to raise all of those funds for the down payment. And that's what a syndication is. Deals can last from anywhere from 2 to 6 years from what I've seen. They could be shorter, they could be longer, but that's typically the time frame. I would even say between 3 to 6 years because you're putting it under contract, raising the money, and typically you'll have to renovate all of the units, get them up to market rent, and stabilize the property, which it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a few years. So that's an example of a syndication. With a fund, that is that's a little bit different because I can say, okay, I'm buying multifamily in Ohio, Indiana, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and Arkansas, right? So that's the geography that I'm looking for deals. I'm also only looking for multifamily. I'm also only looking at properties between 60 and 100 units. And I'm looking at properties that have value add potential, but not a gut renovation, just properties that need some paint, maybe a new roof, some new flooring, some new appliances, but that's pretty much it. I don't want to do anything that really is a gut renovation. And with a fund, you have the criteria in which you are buying the property. So basically, just to recap here, a syndication, you have one specific property that you've already put under contract and you are raising the funds specifically for that one property. With a fund, you have a buy box, a deal criteria that you are looking at properties through this particular sort of lens, and you are raising most of the funds before any of the properties are purchased. So with a syndication, one specific deal that you are raising those funds for, that deal is already under contract. With a fund, you have a criteria and a lens at which you look at properties through, and you have a thesis basically, and you are raising the funds before any of those properties are put under contract, typically. Um, so I really hope you enjoyed it. And once again, if you have any questions regarding real estate, please reach out. Would be happy to do a video about that topic, because chances are, if you have that question, there are other people out there who have a similar question and who want to be educated on various areas of real estate. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow.